Performance Podcast, episode 8. Okay, Josh Beeker is back with us. Josh Beeker was on the second episode with us, and we talked a little bit about his athlete kind of career. He's very large on the social media platforms when it comes to the CrossFit space, but he's back on, and he's back on with a reason. We are now 40 days, maybe 39 now, away from the CrossFit Open, and Josh has been getting ready. So we're here to kind of talk a little bit about the Open, talk about what's coming down the hatch possibly. And this year the Open's a little bit different in many ways when it comes to equipment, when it comes to how long it is, all sorts of different things. But let's talk real quick. Josh, how's everything been?
Everything's been good, man, since the last time we talked, which was probably, a little over a month ago?
Yeah, like maybe a month and a half ago, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so time flies, man. But it's good to be back on. I appreciate you taking the time to have me on here, talk about some fun stuff. Probably the topic that I talk way too much about, if you ask my fiance, which is CrossFit and fitness and health and working out. But yeah, man, gearing up for March 11th. I have not registered yet. Have you registered?
No, I haven't yet. No, I haven't. It's something that I have to do, but it takes 5 seconds. But yeah, no. Relating back to that, it's funny. Me and my fiance, I'll catch myself sometimes because she doesn't do CrossFit. She works out, and I actually saw you did the 75 hard challenge, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing that with her right now, so we're kind of all. It's good. It's just coming in the new year. It's just allows us to focus on us a little less technology, a little bit more like reading, working on ourselves. So it's good, and we're doing it together, which is fun. But yeah, I'll catch myself sometimes, and we'll just be talking about CrossFit, and I'll be like, she doesn't even like CrossFit. Why are we talking about this? Yep. It's funny though. It takes over your life.
Oh, it does. I think it becomes. I think that's why CrossFit gets such a negative stigma. It's because people love it so much and they're so passionate about it that's all they talk about.
It's addicting.
There's people at work that have done CrossFit, and the other people who don't do CrossFit hate them because they talk about CrossFit, not the person, but how much they talk about, oh, I did 150 pull-ups. And the person's like, no, you did 150 arm swings in the air. And they're just the banter between them are pretty funny about that stuff.
No, it's great. No, it's fun time. But yeah, no, the CrossFitters, they definitely all have kind of a small addiction, we'll call it. But so how's your training going? It's been a little while since we talked, but I know you were starting to ramp things up a little bit. And we were talking a little bit before this. We were talking about how you program for yourself and your family, and you also follow a little bit of the mayhem stuff. But how's all the programming been?
So a buddy of mine, we are following pretty hardcore from the mayhem strength. So really the Bergeron strength, and the back squat and front squat cycles for 4 weeks now have been brutal.
Yeah.
A lot of muscle shock. I'm not used to 15 sets of back squat twice a week. So we've been doing it on Mondays and Wednesdays. And it has been good. I mean, we're a lot more comfortable, I think, in the front rack position. That's been the big thing. Back squats haven't been terrible. Those you kind of have to gut out. But I've failed quite a few front squats where I get the first rep, good. Second rep, solid. That third rep, you're trying to squeeze out. I'm trying not to compromise form, but definitely more comfortable at that higher percent. I think this week is 92% for
they ramped it
Monday,
up.
and then 10 sets on Wednesday. So I'm hoping it's a deload week the following week, but it's definitely been helpful. And then a big thing on the Olympic lift side. So my snatch PR and my squat clean and jerk PR they're exactly what they have been, but no belt and a lot cleaner.
That's nice.
Lift belt really solid. Technique wise, I'm not my back isn't shot. I could probably hit a double at that 95% range, and it's been really good.
Yeah, so, we from the coaching side of me, I always talk about how if you need a belt, it's kind of like putting a Band-Aid on a bigger issue. So I only really lift with a belt when it gets to anything 95% or above. I try to keep it off. And I do pretty good with that. But the other day, this was on Friday, I hit a 5RM overhead squat PR that I was psyched about because I'm not very good at the overhead squat. But I finally put 200 over my head, and that was a lot for a 5RM. So that was good for me. But all the mayhem stuff, I've dove into it a little. Like I've said, we were talking about, I've dove into the squat programs that they do.
Yep.
And it's the volume, but the comfortability that comes with the volume. And a lot of different programs. I know CompTrain's doing it right now. We're going through stamina squats up at Reach Athletics, and just the volume of being comfortable under the bar is I think what a lot of these programs are going after. And obviously based off the front squat, because a lot of them are doing front and back, but a lot of people are getting more comfortable, which is really cool to see.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's good though. But like, yeah, even on like the what do you call it? For using a belt, it's those last probably 3 sets
Yeah.
where I'm like, dang, dude, form's getting compromised. But the first 2
Yeah.
sets are really good. It's just like that third, you're like, questionable. And then
Yeah.
second and fifth, or fourth and fifth, and then like the last set or 2 on the back squats or the 10x3, it just gets
Yeah.
hairy.
No, yeah, for sure. It's good. Like if you can lift without it, and understand how to like brace your core, things like that, like you're gonna do so much better in the long run. But then I also tell myself, if you're like, hey, dude, like if it's set or 4 or 5, and you can feel like you said, that form being compromised, or like you might just need that little extra to get you over the hump, then I like sometimes I'll throw it on and be like, okay, just get yourself through this last set or so.
Exactly.
Or if I'm walking up to like a clean and jerk PR, like on the barbell or something, be like, all right, you might need this, just in case.
Definitely.
Yeah. But the other thing that I've seen a lot from you is that you're working out at Prodigy a lot. Is that the affiliate that you belong to?
Prodigy Fitness.
Nice. And you have a little group there. You have a few. It seems like you have a few guys that are constantly working out with you. Is that correct?
Yep.
Now, what's that backstory? Training group? Is this like?
So this is a whole new crew. So I met these guys when I first joined Prodigy. That was from some past members from a previous affiliate, CrossFit Everlasting, and we all migrated over to Prodigy. It's like 15 minutes away from my work. So I hit up there in the morning, go to work, and then when I come home, I get everything prepped and ready for the next day, and then do my afternoon or evening session.
Yeah.
But that crew, originally I thought it was going to be the older gang of people, because I would come in and sometimes after work, because I always wasn't the AM workout person, but I met them and they're like, hey, we work out in the mornings, you should join us. So I worked out with them a couple times. And so Joe and Lorenzo are my 2 guys. And I tag them pretty constantly. So anybody who is wondering who these people are, they're probably in my latest post.
Yeah.
But they're good dudes. Lorenzo's been good because he's a little bit stronger than me.
He's pretty strong. I saw him come up a few times, and I looked him up and I was like, wow, like he can get under some bars.
He's solid. But I think we complement each other well. He's got the strength part of it, but I can do barbell cycling. That's the term I was looking for. Yeah, I can cycle at a higher percentage than he can. Yeah. And I'm definitely more on the Metcon conditioning side. So we're evening out very nicely, and it's a good mesh.
Well, you play off each other, right? You can't it's good. So I have throughout the week I work out. I have to work out at different times around like when I coach. Which allows me to work out with different people. So I'll work out in the morning sometimes, I'll work out kind of midday, and I'll work out in the afternoon. And I have a bunch of different people that I like to train with. I would train with this guy named Kevin, John, a manager, her name, is Dana. But they all have different facets. So like, for example, John is very strong. So like when I work out with him and we see a barbell workout, like I know that he's going to push me to be better on it because he just moves a bar like crazy. And then Dana just has this unbelievable engine. Like he can just go forever. Incredible like endurance athlete. So she's pushed me better, get better on machines, which I've twofold like turned over on the rower, salt bike, things like that. But all your different training partners, like you feed off each other. And then there's things that like me and you are good at too. And they feed off from us. So it's good to like not have like be good at the same things. You know what I mean?
We had a session yesterday. I've never done parallel handstand push-ups.
I saw those. They looked very hard.
Oh, dude. I was like, this is a whole new ball game.
Yeah. But you must have done deficit before.
Yes, I've done deficit, never with the parallettes. Like the most deficit I've ever done is probably stacked like 245s.
Yeah.
But these
6 inches maybe.
Yeah. This was like putting 445s. Like it was over a foot deficit. Like it was.
Well, that and you're at a neutral grip position.
Yes.
Where
that grip is different too.
Yeah.
So figuring that out was tough. So like Lorenzo and I, like it was a partner workout, and it was Mayhem athlete, and it was cool because it was like, okay, pretty much was test the movement, feel it out. There was a workout in between that was toes to bar and bike, so it's just kind of like almost like an active recovery. You still can move through it pretty well, and then they had do it again, the same workout you did one, just to like see what you've learned. And we went from just like getting a bunch of no reps, wasting a ton of energy, to where we were figuring out the movement, and I could actually start stringing stuff together or doing really consistent singles. So that was really cool to see, like in that 15-minute window, from just like really failing and messing up to being able to like do it. Now, Lorenzo, he was struggling just a little bit, so he was getting a little frustrated, but he was moving still really well. And then even after the workout, we hit a couple more, tried to do some unbroken sets, and it was good.
Yeah.
But
No,
stuff like
we
that.
in the last 2 months, maybe 2-3 months, I've had my battles with handstand push-ups because I wasn't very good at them for a while, and then over the summer, there's kind of like a loop period also with COVID, like we just didn't at the gym, we didn't do a bunch of them,
Mm-hmm.
just due to like being like spaced out, everything like that. So we've been getting back into them,
Yep.
and me and one of the coaches the other day hit a AMRAP 30. It was GHDs, kettlebell swings, rope climbs, and handstand push-ups. And like he moves well. Like he is an incredible athlete. He coaches up at One Nation in Boston. And at Reach, but he's an incredible athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the dog fight that I was in to try and keep up with him on the handstands because it was partner, but like he would go unbroken sets. And then I'm like, I don't know if I got unbroken sets because the numbers were getting out there. So the dog fight with handstand push-ups has been real.
Hey, well, at least for the open, you're not gonna have to deal with handstand push-ups
unless
freestanding handstand push-ups.
Yeah. We'll get there. We're gonna touch on some of that stuff. But then just overall, training's been good. How's everything else been? You were not engaged the last time we were on the podcast, right?
Correct.
So you are engaged now. So
Yes,
congratulations.
is my fiance. Thank you. Happened on Christmas Day.
Christmas Day. Hey, that's a Cinderella story right there, man.
Yeah,
How was it? So I got engaged over the summer. How nervous were you?
I wasn't super nervous. You could definitely hear. So, sidetrack story. Her mom forgot to record. I think she was in shock. She's the only person that knew. Because I was at her house.
Yeah.
And she didn't record, but if you could hear my voice was a little crackly, and I was a little nervous, like in that moment. But literally, like man, like buying the ring, leading up to it, like I wasn't that nervous. It was just like when she opened up her present, and I was like, okay, when she opens up this present, I'm gonna ask the question. I look at her mom and be like, hey, what's about to happen? Like I gave her the look. And then that's when I like instantly was nervous. I'm like, oh, dude, it's about to happen. Oh,
yeah. Leading up to it. So it was funny. Leading up to it, like I was good. Me and my fiance, we went on like a little mini vacation down to Cape Cod. We went to Cape Cod, and we were there for an entire day, like a whole night and day before I even did it. So I was like, I was pretty composed. Like the day was going well, and then we hit dinner, and I was gonna do it right after dinner, and we hit dinner. And there was no words that came out, like no words. All I did at dinner was eat. Couldn't get the words out. I think she started to feel like, wow, this is getting weird. Like what's happening? Hit the beach because we did it on a beach in Cape Cod. That's where I did it. And it took me a good hour to get it out. Not just to say it, but like we walked around, dilly-dally, dude. It was nuts. Like I just shut down, but it was cool.
The nerves just got you.
Yeah, no, it's funny, but it was good. But it's good stuff. So. Let's talk about the Open a little bit. We'll start with the big change when it comes to, first and foremost, the Open is traditionally a 5-week competition. It's been in 2 different spots. It's been in the February, March area for a while, for a bunch of years. Then it switched over to kind of the October area for a few years when it changed from that regionals to that sanctionals method. And now we're back to the February, March area. But the other big change that's happened is it's gone from 5 weeks to 3 weeks. Now, first and foremost, give me your opinion on that, and then we'll break into some other things.
All right. So maybe I know they wanted to shorten it because of COVID and the things that are going on with the world right now. I'm okay with the 3 weeks, but if it's only 3 workouts, I'm not okay with that. I don't think there's enough you can test unless we're talking about workouts. Like, I don't know if you checked up on my story, but I was answering some questions. And I gave out my 3 sample workouts.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be like a triple header workout. Like,
so did you see the video? I don't know if it was from HQ the other day, but it had Castro in it. And did you see what he said when that question was asked?
No, what he said.
So they said, Dave, 3-week Open, 3 workouts. And he dropped the old Dave Castro bomb where he just goes, there'll be at least 3 workouts.
All right.
So we're kind of hitting on something so my method behind it, and this is where my initial thoughts go to this, is 3 weeks, yes.
Yep.
And some people were like, well, maybe you're going to do multiple workouts within a week, and the week system's going to change. Could happen, but probably unlikely, just because like the Friday Night Lights affiliate thing and the Open announcement, like that's a big thing for them. So I don't think it'll be like hit this workout on Wednesday, crush your soul, and then hit this one on Friday.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll do that. But I do think this will be a year where you might see multiple two-parters, or you might see something like you have an hour and a half window to hit X Metcon, and then sometime within the hour and a half, you have to hit 1 RM front squat, 10 RM front squat, something like that. You could see kind of like they did at the games where they're like, you have a 4-hour window to complete the morning session. So he kind of dropped the bomb there. I don't we have no idea what's coming, but those are kind of some of my initial thoughts.
But I like it. I think for what is going on for the online, for the equipment list, I think there's a variety of workouts you can create. Now, the separator, which is going to have to, from those top athletes to people who are just doing it for fun to people who are just starting, I think the barbell is going to be extremely heavy for these workouts.
Well, did you see so we'll touch on a few other things real quick. We'll touch on the equipment list for anyone that doesn't know what it is. We got a barbell and plates.
Yep.
We have a dumbbell, emphasis on A. We have a jump rope. We have a box and a pull-up bar. Now, since you didn't see that video, he dropped a few other bombs. He dropped the dumbbell weight. It's 1535. And it's a dumbbell, not a set of dumbbells. He said that too. You know that you don't know what the barbell is going to be because they asked him, can you give people an insight on the weights that they need or X amount of plates or sizes? And he just said, you need plates. So he didn't give it away. So that means 18.4, right? That's the biggest one. Like that scheme right there is like something that I could see down the hatch, which is a separator. But that's the equipment list and kind of the things he talked about in that video. But I kind of agree. I see it going a few different ways. And it's different. And you can see the different programming, different programmers and gyms kind of attacking these different things. A lot of people are doing a ton of stuff on the boxes, like step ups, single dumbbell step ups, a ton of dumbbell stuff, box jump overs, burpee box jump overs, all this stuff. They're just incorporating that. But then my big separators, I think you're right, where it's going to be weight on the barbell. And I mean, you can always separate it with the bar muscle up. You gonna do bar muscle ups or not?
Yep. I don't know if we'll do bar muscle ups. I think it's gonna be chest to bar pull ups, but in like astronomical volume.
So did you do the workout? What year is it? Maybe 2017, where it was 33, 30, 27 chest to bar pull ups and thrusters. Yeah, like you might see something like that where it's just like, here's this ginormous load of like chest to bars where first off, like it's chest to bars aren't easy. So like in affiliates, there's a lot of people that struggle with chest to bars. So that's a separator alone. And then you do like a Fran combo, like a chest to bar thruster or a chest to bar overhead squat, something like that. And now you just separated the entire field.
Oh, absolutely. You don't even need a heavy barbell at that point.
Chest to bar overhead squat is Friday for Mayhem, by the way. So get excited.
Oh, yeah. That'd be a good little test.
High volume chest to bars and overhead squats. I believe.
Yep. Like for me, the one I was thinking, and this is my workout number 3 that I posted, 15-minute AMRAP of just 5 clean and jerks at 155, 105, the 10 chest to bar pull-ups, and then there's got to be some high-level gymnastics, so you got the pull-up bar and then probably 20 single leg pistol squats. I think pistols.
So they that's a new asset so last year was the first time pistols were ever in the open, and they used the pistol and the barbell weight as the separator, but the tie break was up to the pistols. So they kind of deemed the pistols being a separator. Yeah, in that workout, it was like 18.4 redo. I think it was 20.3 or 20.4. But what it was the tie break on the score was how fast could you get through the 185 bar in the step ups. And then as you got into the 225 bar and the pistols, like that line was the separator of the tie break. So you had to really work through the step ups. And then when you hit the pistols, they're like, you hit pistols in a 225 clean and jerk. And that's like, that's what's going to separate a mass amount of people.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. So this is my first year doing the open. So like, I don't have that open knowledge as much. I've seen the workouts, but actually experiencing them, living through them. I'm sure that how many opens have you done?
So fun fact for you. I've only done parts of opens.
Okay.
So I've done pieces of opens before in the past, pre-college. I've touched on open workouts in college. And then last year, this is my big story. I started working at Reach. I was a personal trainer. I wasn't really in the CrossFit space for a very long time. But I needed something to motivate me. So I refound CrossFit. I found Reach Athletics, and like my first or second week really being completely at the gym, completely invested, was the open, like 20.1. So I did 20.1, and I struggled through some of the workouts, like the Diane style workout where it was the deadlifts. I had no handstand push-ups. So I did 21 deadlifts in like 59 seconds, and then I was done.
That was it.
That was the whole workout. It was like a 20-minute workout. So it's like, for me this year, for example, last year I placed maybe 100,000.
Mm-hmm.
This year, like, I'm looking to knock off like income in like the top 15 or 10,000. Like, I think that's kind of where I'm at. Like, it's going to be night and day difference on where kind of I land. But I haven't done a full open before. So we're kind of in the same boat.
Hey, we'll see what happens. What happens.
And it's only 3 weeks. So we don't get the 5-week treacherous.
Exactly. But it might be the most painful one yet.
Well, so the other thing that we could touch on is, as we kind of dabble into this open talk too, is the 3-week open. I'm a big fan of this year when it comes to inclusion, because there's essentially a secondary open, right? There's a 3-week quarterfinal, which they haven't said, but what most people are believing or buying into is it's pretty much a second open. It's a 3-week, we think, competition that's at home online. And that's where he did mention the other day where the equipment list for that is wide open.
Yeah. Because that's going to be inside local gyms. And I think like rings are definitely.
Yeah. Like rings, heavy bars,
sandbag cleans.
Maybe. Yeah. Like I said, the equipment list is wide open for that. Wide open. GHD.
Bring back the machines.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I think the first thing that I was super upset about is I'm pretty solid on the rower. I would say, like,
so you're like, great, I don't even have my
like my one movement that like I like is separated from me. Like, if there's row inside of a workout, I know that I'm gonna hammer that workout. Like, it's just it's game over. Like, or at least I think, like most workouts. Sometimes I've blacked out before, but like I know that the rower is like my thing. Also, like the bike, like the assault bike, that's never even been in the open, but like things like that, like I'm great on machines. So I saw the list come out. I'm like, well, dang it. So, but hopefully, so hopefully that second round, bring the machines back for sure. But when it comes to the first 3 weeks of the open, what do you think will be, will you think most, like there'll be multiple things on like gymnastics, for example? Like, do you think you'll see a pull-up style or a muscle-up and like toes to bar? Or do you think you're only going to see the pull-up rig used once? Like, what do you see there? We'll start with the gymnastics.
I think there'll be – so we don't know how many workouts there's going to be.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, there could be 3. If there's 3, you're like, that's not a lot of workouts. I don't think he'll put you on the rig twice.
So the way I could see this is, so when he said that, when you were giving me, because I'm just hitting in insights, I haven't done enough research because I've only been spreading, taking little parts here. But when you were talking about Dave saying there's going to be at least 3, I think we're going to keep the same 5 workouts. It's just going to be in the 3-week span where it could be like 2 workouts, and then one big like ABC like bang.
Kind of like they did the online games where that last day was like. The last day had like one extra one, or that last week was like that was a hard workout. That was GHD Annie, and it was like no joke.
Yes, that was I did that workout, and that was brutal.
Yeah,
brutal.
Yeah, I did that workout at the women's weight. It was still brutal.
Still brutal. GHD will mess it up. But back to the gymnastics, I think there'll be 2. I think there'll be I don't know. I don't think he's gonna throw in bar muscle ups. I think he's gonna save that for the local gym. Because when you specified the pull-up bar, is there anything like height requirements?
No. So we touched on this with a bunch of the coaches the other day. I don't know if he'll touch on bar muscle-ups, because if you think about inclusion or allowing people to do this from home, if they don't have the clearance, that might not be something. But then in that secondary kind of style, like say you make the quarterfinals, like it's wide open. You have to find
100%. Bar muscle-ups will be in there, and then will be
or some sort of muscle-up. Like muscle-ups will be in there, but in this first one, you might not see it. You might just see – well, you might see something nasty. You know what I mean? Like Castro can get really nasty, and a lot of people be like, oh, chest to bar, things like that. Like it could just be straight pull-ups. And like the rep scheme can be massive, and it can just get really nasty.
Do you think we can see triple unders?
I don't think we'll see triple unders, but I think touching back on the barbell real quick, you could see some other things come in. For example, like burpee pull-up or burpee to target, things like that, where he makes everything just a touch harder, for example, and there's little separators, you know what I mean? Like burpee to a 6-foot target. He could include the pull-up bar like that. With a double under, I think you'll see it once. There was a double under workout last year where it was 4 thrusters, double dumbbell 50s, and then it was 8 toes to bar and 24 double unders. I think you're going to see something like that again because a lot of the online comps have been doing something with a dumbbell, you know, like high volume dumbbell snatch or overhead lunge or, God forbid, single dumbbell overhead squat. Talk about a separator.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Talk about like eliminating the field.
That mobility right there. Because if you don't know how to breathe with your arm overhead and a dumbbell, I think that is a massive separator.
I thought about dumbbell squat snatches the other day, but I think that's too technical.
With a 50-pound dumbbell, the expectation of some athletes, that might not be.
Yeah, you could do it, but anything in that overhead, even overhead lunges can mess people up pretty good. So things you could see like that on the dumbbell. The box, I think, is going to be something nasty. It's going to be box overs.
I think box step overs with the dumbbell, and it's going to be high volume, aggressive, like 100 straight.
Like a big, or you could see a big chipper. For example, like 100 box step overs with a dumbbell, and then you see something on the barbell, and you work your way down or something like that. Or you could see a box combo. Some of the programming we've seen where they do box combos where it's like do 20 just box jumps, then 20 burpee box jumps, 20 burpee box jump overs, then 20 dumbbell step overs. And it's just like death by box. Like he can get pretty creative with the equipment that he has.
Oh, there's a plethora of things.
Yeah.
I think lift is perfect.
I do agree that the barbell's going to get heavy. I like what you said the other day or maybe it was today or yesterday where you're like, I hope it snatches because you've been
I hope it snatches.
And I think you could see like a snatch ladder's tough because snatch for the everyday person, like snatching is really hard. So like the everyday person probably struggles with like a 135 snatch or a 150, like a 155 snatch.
To cycle. Because like I've not been in an affiliate class in about a year.
Yeah.
So like whenever I've seen people do snatches at 135, it's never touch and go. It's one.
Well, exactly. Well, so if you saw a snatch, say we saw a snatch ladder, like a clean and jerk ladder, or we saw a snatch ladder, that snatch ladder would probably have to start either at 95-65 or 75-55, depending on the volume. And it will probably only, I mean, you've seen at the games, like it's only gotten up to 185 really.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't
I don't think
high.
I don't think they would touch 200 for the main.
No. You might see 205.
Yeah, that's like capping it out. But I think if that was going to happen, it'd be like a time constraint. Like you have a 5-minute window to get to the next level. 5-minute window.
Well, that's like 18.4. Not 18.4, but one of the workouts where it's like you have 4 minutes to complete XXS. Then you can rest or you can keep working. But it's just total time. But if they were going to do a snatch, and I hope they do, because switch it up a little bit. Everyone likes the clean and jerk, and people are better at it. But like, if you want to separate something heavy, like the snatch is one way you can do
technical.
it. Yeah. But I think they'd have to start it pretty light on that occlusion side, like 75 or 95-65, and it wouldn't take very big jumps. I think if it was 95, it would probably go 115,
20
then 135, 155, and then probably 185.
Yeah, because that clean workout, that was aggressive. It was like 30 and 40-pound jumps.
Yeah, well, it went 95, 135, 185, 225, 275, 315.
Yeah, that's
aggressive. Big jumps. But the clean, like that 275 clean, I don't think they thought to separate like everyday, like maybe number one person at an affiliate and then a games athlete was from the 225 to the 275.
Yeah.
Because I think the best like weightlifters in most gyms can hit 225 clean and jerks, like cycling that, or at least heavy singles. But then you take a 50-pound jump to 275, and that's a separator. Yeah, and it was high volume too. I think it was 10 of them or 8 of them.
It was a good amount.
Yeah,
a good amount for sure. And like that's something I'll probably be my peak before the open, that's probably one of the workouts I'm going to hit just to feel a heavy load like that, or even
Yeah.
practice it with a snatch instead, doing comparable weight to that.
Yeah. Or I mean, you could do both. You have time, but like some sort of
Definitely.
snatch ladder and then some sort of clean and jerk ladder. And the other thing with barbell lifts too, is most of the time when you see those, they let you go either way. They're not going to be like squat snatches, or they're not going to be power snatches. When it's those ladders, it's just snatch.
Correct.
Do it however you want,
Yes.
but you got to get it done.
Yeah, I don't think they throw power in there because it gets finicky if it counts or not, depending on
Yeah.
depth.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
it requires more
Yeah.
human error, or there is more opportunity for
Well, and
human
it's tough on, I mean, the judging. They always talk about it in the open. Like they
Right.
want to make the judges' life not as easy as possible, but like
easier.
they want to make it easier for them.
Less friction.
Yes, exactly. Less no reps, things like that, or making it easier to call no rep or see it at least. Now when it comes to, you have 3 example workouts. Is there, of the pieces of equipment that we have in that first 3-week open, what would you like to see the most? Like, would you like to see a lot of barbell stuff? Would you like to see the dumbbell used multiple times? Like, what would you like to see the most? What do you think you're going to see the most?
Well, what I would like to see is if it's like a moderate barbell weight, like a 115, like cycling, like hang cleans, or honestly, I would love 115, 85-pound squat cleans. Like positioning wise, I get a good flow. I got good mobility, good depth. That would be a jam. Alternating dumbbell power snatches.
Yeah.
That's something I would love to see.
I think you're going to see that.
I think that would be.
If I was a betting man, it's either going to be, I would say, hang clean and jerks or power snatches, and I would put my money on power snatches probably.
Yep, I would love to see that. For the box jump overs.
Yeah,
I do not want box jumps. I do not want box step overs.
Well, box get overs, I think, are another one of those things where you can have a little bit of separation in such a short time. Because if you have someone that can do that box get over laterally and they can work through it compared to like jump forward, turn essentially at the top or spin at the 100%. Bottom, like it speeds it up enough where you can get a little bit of separation there too.
Yeah. And like if you can just eat that pain, like your quads are screaming and you keep going.
Yeah.
But I can think I'm doing something so evil where it's just like the box step overs right into pistol squats and just like wreck your whole legs and just eat you alive. But for the barbell, I wouldn't, and then like a clean and jerk, a 185 clean and jerk, I think that would be a great move.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mayhem had that with bar muscle ups, and that was one of my favorite workouts that I've done in the past couple of weeks. It was hard, but it was good. Like a really good trainer.
Well, here's a good question for you. What do you see coming down the hatch? Because I do think we're going to see this too when it comes to body weight. There's going to be something in there.
Yes.
Because you might see like high volume air squats. I mean, people laugh, but like if you do air squats at a good percentage, like it is gnarly.
I could see a 250 air squat buy-in to a workout.
Yeah. Or something like that. Or like we talked like a big chipper where it's like air squats, step overs, box get over, something like that, where it's just like, all right, for those bodyweight ninjas out there, like, let's see how fast you can push this.
Yeah, let's see how good you really are. They'll introduce
I would say that another thing that I'd put my money on is there's going to be some sort of burpee in there because Castro loves burpees in the open.
Burpee box jump over?
Burpee box jump over. Lateral barbell burpee.
Yeah.
He did bar facing to open it last year. Like I said, you could see burpee to a target, burpee pull up. But I was a betting man that in one of those 3 weeks there will be chest and quads to the ground, I would imagine.
Oh, definitely.
I would assume.
Burpees are going to be a standard. One thing we haven't touched on, though, thrusters. Could you see a single dumbbell thruster?
You could. So the competition in mid-COVID, United in Movement, did a single dumbbell thruster workout. And I did that. I went through that whole competition, and it was nasty.
Yeah, I went through that whole thing too. That was legit. Like those were some good at home.
There was some 7 minutes of burpees. That was a redo from the Open a few years ago, and that was disgusting. But that single dumbbell thruster is nasty because when you're at the bottom, if you can learn to support the weight, you're good. But if you start twisting and turning, your back fires up and it gets nasty.
Yep, and your breathing gets all jacked too.
Yeah, that gets pretty tough.
Mm-hmm.
You could see something like that. I think you could get pretty creative with the dumbbell too. This week at the gym, we have single dumbbell devil's press, which is essentially a burpee with a power snatch.
Yep.
Essentially,
I
you
love
could
that.
see something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to get pretty creative, but he also could be super simple, right? Huge chipper, dumbbell power snatch. How fast can you move it? Things like that.
I think for week 1, I'm going to stick with my 2 workouts in 1 week. I think the week 1 will be just like, oh, guys, it's real simple. This is going to be really easy, like nothing to it. And then he'll shock us with week 2. And then week 3, it'll be like, what the hell was that? Like,
yeah.
everyone
So
just got messed up.
week 1, I feel like he has a tendency to program something fast where like there is a very aggressive time cap. Not aggressive, but like, for example, last year, 20.1 had a 15-minute time cap.
Yes.
And if you could cycle the bar well, and then you could just suffer through the bar facing, you could get under the time cap.
Yes.
And a lot of people's goals, and like you scored pretty well if you just beat the time cap. Like if you just got 14 minutes, like you did pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So you could see something like that, aggressive-ish time cap, where it's like, here's a body weight workout, lateral burpees or something like that, with just a moderate to aggressive time cap, where he just puts you in the ground on week 1.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on, do you think, we talked about heavy bars in workouts.
Mm-hmm.
Could this be a year where we see a heavy bar rep max or for load, anything like that?
That's a great question. So I think he'll throw something out there where it's like, establish a 1 rep max overhead squat from the ground, no rack or anything.
That would be interesting. So that alone, learning how to take, even if he does say a 5 RM, anything, overhead squat, front squat, back squat, and you have to take it from the ground, you change the game.
Yes. Because people have to figure out how they want to do that. Like you might have a ridiculous overhead squat, but you're coming from that back rack and over to get overhead. Or it might be, I think you had a good idea too. Like if you're taking a 5 RM squat clean where you couldn't let go of the bar or something like that, just something different, or even like a complex. Yeah. But again, the technical aspect of it, it's going to have to be something a little bit more.
Yeah. You could see something come from the ground. Because the other thing too, that I think is going to come into play, and you don't really know how it's going to come into play, and it might not come into play. But I think he'll have some thoughts on it to allow less headaches for affiliates, is you still don't want like somebody in the gym have to go from point A to point B to point C and just mucking things up. Because some gyms, like our gym, like we're still wearing masks and we still want to be spaced out, things like that. Yep. So I think there's going to be some things where like there's going to be a lot of different moving parts, but I also think there's going to be like, here's a space, here's your little box, everything's in your little box, and just let it go. Like hammer it down, here's all your equipment, and just go for it.
I think he understands that though, from what affiliates have probably given him already feedback wise. Like I can't imagine he's going to throw stuff together and not ask people who are going to be participating and be like, oh, this isn't supposed to happen. Well, now we got to change everything, or like tough luck. I can feel like he understands that. So that's why we're not going to see any like lunges or stuff like that, or handstand walks. I love handstand walks.
So here was my big question, and I don't know if there's like a clear answer, and I think a lot of affiliates are unclear of it too. He gave an equipment list, right?
Yes.
But like if he was gonna pop a handstand walk in there, he wouldn't be like, you need 25 feet of space. Like I don't think he would say that. Or like handstand push-ups. You see a lot of like affiliates and programmers like still hammering them pretty hard. Where some things are like, there's a lot of jump rope involved now and dumbbells, where it's like people are very unsure. Like if he's like, all right, well, we have handstand push-ups, because like I don't think he's going to be like, hey, you need a wall. Make sure you have a wall. You know what I mean?
Yes. He'll probably make a statement and be like, well, you guys should have just assumed that.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Like a wall is not a piece of equipment. And I think that's got a lot of like programmers out there that are like, I'm not really sure what this means. So they're still hammering it home.
Yes, because the name of the game for CrossFit is being able to test many modalities and test the unknown. Part of that unknown is stuff he has not said yet. Like there could be something crazy. And he could just like pull a fast one, like, psych, we're using 2 dumbbells or something like that. Even though he
Yeah.
might have said 1,
Yeah.
might have to do 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a huge possibility that handstand push-ups could still be in there.
Still
And
be in there. I was out there.
I've practiced it every week
Yeah.
just because like that's something I want to work on. But you're right. Like I didn't even think like, oh duh, he might actually announce that as one of the workouts.
Yeah. Well, like I said, like I don't think like he might, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was like, you're like, I was supposed to tell you that you needed a wall. Like you're inside of a gym. Everyone's got walls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like a piece of equipment, or it's not something that you should have to like go out and buy. Like it's just a wall. You know what I mean? So if I was out there, I would definitely get on your hands a few times in the next 40 days and make sure.
That's something like my family, they want to do the open.
Yeah.
I got my mom who wants to do it, my stepsister. I don't know if my fiance wants to do it, but I think she will. Like maybe not record it like on the like register, but she'll still do the workouts.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be really fun. But for them, like I've been trying to just get their skills up, like high volume gymnastics. And we've still been working on handstands. Cause like again, if it comes into the workout, you got to know how to do it.
Yeah.
And for them, if they want to do a competition in the future, handstand push-ups may be.
And I would say when it comes to the first 3-week open compared to the quarterfinal, if I was a betting man, I would say there is a moderate chance you'd see handstand push-ups and you wouldn't see handstand walking, because handstand walking is something that is a little bit more technical. So you never really see that. You don't see it in the open a bunch, but you see it at sanctionals and regionals all the time.
That is true.
But then the other thing too is if you have an affiliate that's going to launch off 30 people doing a workout in the open, I don't think spatially aware they would want to throw a handstand walk in. Where like if he was like, all you need is a spot against the wall, and it did something nasty like 180, 60, 40, 20, 10, whatever, handstand push up, or like, you know what I mean? Like do 100 dumbbell snatches, do 50 handstand push-ups, 80 dumbbell snatches, 40 handstand push-ups, and just like rakes you, something like that. Obviously that volume is pretty high, you know what I mean? But like that's just all you need is a dumbbell and a wall.
I could see, now that you say that, so just playing around with ideas and movements, I could see, again, super simple. Let's keep that scheme of 180, 60, 40, 20. Dumbbell squat. It doesn't have to be goblet, so you could like throw it on your side or on your back and just hold it however you want to hold it and just make it miserable. Like, what is that, 300 reps?
Yeah.
Your squats? Yeah, I can 100% see that.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be like, there'll be some volume workout. I don't know what the other thing would be, but it would just be some simple couplet where it's a dumbbell squat and then probably 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 burpees over the dumbbell. Like just something, he'll just call it like the quarantine workout. Like everyone.
Yeah, you could see something like that where, because, you know, that's what a lot of people are doing. You know what I mean? I think they said a lot of the online comps, United Movement, like all they did really was dumbbell stuff. So like you could see him kind of hit on like, all right, there's a lot of people out there hammering at home with dumbbells. Like this one's for you guys. Like, let's see how it's going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or he says, screw you. You should have tested other things. This is what we're doing instead.
Yeah, well, it's Castro. So now let's talk about you a little bit as an athlete and coming into the open. What do you have expectations, goals, anything like that? What are you thinking?
So it's my first open. And I don't want to put so much pressure on myself because eventually, of course, I do want to take this to the next level of competing at the highest level possible, whether that's with the new regionals, which they're not calling, they're just calling it the worldwide in-person semifinals. Yeah. But really, it's just regionals coming back, which I super pumped up for. Yeah. But my goal for the open would be to qualify inside that top 10%. Yeah. But ultimately at the top, it's to perform the best to my abilities and remain healthy. I don't want to get hurt. I want to enjoy it. And it's just perform at my best. Like if I feel like I gave my best effort and I finished outside that top 10% and I didn't move on to the local online like gym competition, I'll be happy with that. I'll be like, cool, this is what I need to work on for next year and go from there. But I do feel confident in my abilities to advance at least to the quarterfinals. Yeah. I mean, now, so I did some math, and these are lucrative numbers, but it's 10% of, we're in the region of North America. Yep. Right. And the thing that people have to understand is it's North America, not the United States. Yes. The original regionals used to be, Eastern or Atlantic region, Pacific region, things like that. We're in the United States, or we're in North America. Sorry. So that involves Canada and Mexico. Correct. And it's 10% of the open participants in our 18 to 34, because we're both inside of that category. Yep.
So that's a big category. That number is not small. I think I did it last year. And if you, for example, if you did Mexico, Canada, and the United States, it was around like 50 to 60-ish thousand
Mm-hmm.
from the United States and Canada. So, I mean, if you take that and you eliminate some of the age group qualifiers, I mean, the number is probably still pretty big. So you're looking probably in the 18 to 34, somewhere within like the top. I mean, if you get the top 5,000, like you probably landed it in there somewhere. Top 5, 4, 3,000. I think you'll make that top 10%. Like I think that that quarterfinal is going to be a pretty big number from the North American region because of the United States.
Yep.
So it's pretty big. And for touching on something real quick, if you're an age group athlete out there, it's 10% of your age group. And those numbers, if you've never looked at the age groups, the numbers are huge. Like some of the age groups have a ton of open participants in them. So you have a good chance, and it's more inclusive, right? Go for it. Like top 10%, you get another 3 weeks. You technically get to do what I call a second competition. So if that's your goal, that's my goal. My goal is to try and hit the quarterfinals. If I do that, and I give my best effort, like for me, like I said, I want to see the difference between essentially week 1 of when I started CrossFit back again. And now I've come a year and a half, and I want to see where I land. And I think I can land in pretty good shape.
Good.
I think the quarterfinal will be an awesome kind of result for me.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. I'm in the same boat. Like not like first year and a half of really going seriously at CrossFit. Like I've been doing CrossFit on and off, but actually going hard at it the past year and a half, really, just to see where we're at and compete. And again, give the best effort possible, have fun while doing it.
Exactly.
It would be a nice little reward.
Exactly. Yeah. And you get to do a little bit more things like that. Like I said, you could treat it as kind of 2 competitions. You can treat the first open as one. And then if your goal is the quarterfinals, it's a whole nother thing because it's going to be a whole nother ballgame, right? If I get to that second one, I mean, I hope I do, right? That's my goal. If I do get to that second one, I have to understand there's going to be things that are probably going to be pretty challenging. You know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of separators there because now you're trying to get people to essentially a regional. So you could see some pretty high volume ring muscle ups, pretty nasty workouts that are kind of that in-betweener or like a sanctionals qualifier workout. So if I got to that quarterfinal, then I would really just try and enjoy it because I'd be like, wow, man, you did pretty good. Now let's enjoy this second part.
Yeah, everything would get bumped up in that quarterfinals. I'm not even thinking about that. Like, of course, I'd love to make it there, but like, I don't want to get my mind wrapped around that and be so freaked.
Just enjoy the open.
Yeah.
Just enjoy the open. Now, do you have plans? You said your family's going to do the open. Do you have plans, or does Prodigy have plans? Or is anything like that about the open? Like, are you going to do it at your house? Are you going to do that Prodigy?
It depends.
Have you thought about it?
I have thought about it. I got to talk more with the owner. I've had the luxury of becoming close with him over the past month, getting to know him getting to know me. I think we're going to do something kind of like a Friday Night Lights kind of deal, or if it was first thing Saturday morning.
Yeah.
We'll just run heats. Yeah. I think it's probably going to be the Saturday thing. That would make more sense so people who are getting off work can get themselves together, plan stuff out. Whether or not we actually set it up as like a real event where like, there's waters and stuff and we have all like sanitation stations and everything, getting all that in order.
Yeah.
We'll see. But if it's just like, a few people who want to do it and we're just going to do it on Friday night, have at it and we'll go from there. But I think I'll probably more or less judge and record for my family and help coach them rather than competing with them alongside me. And then Prodigy will probably just be for myself competing and then supporting those guys.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, the Friday Night Lights method, a lot of affiliates do that. And it's a very cool environment because you essentially, I mean, with any sporting event, but as basic as it sounds, the more people there is, the bigger the environment is. Like the bigger, the higher the energy, the bigger the environment, all that stuff. It's always fun. And the other thing too is I think it's more, you can treat it as a celebration too. It's like you can see where you're at. And that's what a lot of people do the open for. Like I said, part of me is seeing like a celebration kind of where I've turned over. And
I hope you hit huge PRs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, so for me, it's going to be kind of a year coming through things and seeing like, wow. Like, and then the other thing that I want to do too, I think is a really cool platform. And I talk about it with a lot of members at the gyms. and then people that are just kind of intrigued in CrossFit is
Mhm.
that you can become a lot better, or you can make a lot of change in a very short amount of time.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
Like it's only been a year plus for me,
Mhm.
um, year and some change, and I don't even recognize some of the things that I could do and couldn't do. Like
Yeah.
last year, one of the workouts I did was I did the toes to bar workout, and I was
Mhm.
doing singles, and I had to take like 10 seconds rest. You know what I mean? Just that, like
Yeah.
that alone. Couldn't do double unders. I
Yes.
taught myself double unders in the open. I just grabbed the rope, and I was like, I was only doing like sets of 5, but I
Yep.
grabbed the rope,
Still
and I'm
though.
like, getting it, 5, break,
Uh-huh.
5,
Mhm.
break. Where this year, it's like I can rip workouts all the time that have 3,
Exactly.
400 double unders, like that alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like that's what's great about CrossFit though, is that it is measurable and quantifiable results over time.
Exactly.
You can look
Exactly.
at something from literally 2015 and then take it to 2021 and be like, oh my gosh, I cut off like 2 minutes from a workout, or I got an extra 5 rounds, or look where my numbers are. Not that numbers are everything, but it does give you some sense of motivation. Similarly, if you're looking at a scale and you lost 10 pounds, or you were trying to gain 10 pounds, like vice versa, like it's
But it goes with the
awesome.
philosophy. The thing about CrossFit and how they define fitness is that it's measurable. Like you said,
Hmm.
like people, I mean, you can get caught up in competing, you can get not caught up in competing, you can get caught up in numbers, you can be the strongest person at the gym, want to pull the best numbers on the rower. It doesn't matter. But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, like everything is measurable. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think that's part of the addiction is that like, so when I was struggling on the rower, right? I hated the rower. It's my least favorite, like a piece of equipment in the gym. But I took some time and got very good at it because
Hmm.
I didn't like it so much. So I wanted to get off it. But it was because I had measurable data. You know
Yep.
what I mean? I'd be like, all right, I'm going to do 6,000 meters, split it up into intervals. I'm going to keep it at this. And I did things like that for like 2 or 3 weeks, but it's all because those workouts are measurable, right?
Yep.
Double unders. If you're trying to teach yourself double unders, EMOMs. If you're trying to do anything, let's touch on this real quick. For people out there that are like, hey, Josh, hey, Scott, like, what can I do to help things with the open? I like EMOMs. You can do anything
Yes.
inside of an EMOM, right?
Yes.
If you're working on a single kipping pull-ups, do an EMOM. First week,
Mhm.
1 kipping pull-up, then do like 10 air squats or just ride a bike in the second minute.
Yes.
And then the second week, just add a rep, right? Anything where you can get high intensity inside of
Mhm.
an EMOM with
Mhm.
technical movements,
Yep.
there's nothing to beat it.
Yep. Progressively, you can see the change. Like you're like, oh dang, I was only doing one week 1. Week 4, I'm doing 3 kipping pull-ups each time.
Yeah,
Like that's awesome. Like you literally went 3x in
yeah,
3. It might not be that linear for everybody, but I'm saying like you can do that.
yeah,
And for me, higher percentage weights, like moving an 80% squat clean, EMOM style, right? So
yeah.
one every 10 minutes gives you plenty of rest, gives you less time to think and like mentally psych yourself out. You're like, okay,
Mhm.
15 seconds, chalk up, I'm going again.
Yeah,
Boom, hitting it. If you miss it, okay, cool. Wait till the next minute. You hit it again. All right, confidence is back. Let's try to do that again. Boom,
yeah,
boom.
exactly.
You've
Exactly.
completed 9, 10 squat cleans in that time frame.
Yeah,
It's a
because
much
I can there is people out there that are probably like inside across the gym, like, hey man, Open's now less than 40 days away, and they're like, I want to do it, but like they're like maybe my pulling strength's not there. Like I said, EMOMs. If you don't have double unders yet, you can teach yourself double unders in a week. Just grab a jump rope every day. 10 minutes before class, 10 minutes. Use it as your warm up. Grab the
Yep.
rope. Be like, all right, I'm gonna practice double unders for 5 minutes. I might hit my feet for the next 5 minutes, but at least I can say I'm practicing them. You know what I mean? And just use it as your warm up. It's gonna get your heart rate up.
Absolutely.
You know?
Even hit yourself in the feet. That jumping right there is going to get you going.
Yeah.
And I think for athletes, you want to go in as confidently as you can. Not perfect. Nobody's ever perfect. Any competition, any sporting event, I've always had self-doubt, but knowing like how much work you've put in, it just like masks that. And you're like, I'm good. I'm going to go do some dubs. I'm going to go do toes to bar. Who cares if I did singles a year ago? That's a whole new
Yeah.
year. And then you just go in confidently.
Yeah.
Same thing when
When it
you're
comes to I'll say this too, when it comes to the open, like you said, don't psych yourself out. You shouldn't be too nervous or stressed out about it. Like if you're out there and you're thinking about, oh, do I register for the open? I don't want to register for the open because, you know, like Josh is a really good athlete. I'm like, I already know that he's gonna crank me home. You know what I mean? Things like that. That's not what it's about, right?
yeah,
It's not what it's about. It's about being part of something bigger than all
yes.
of us, right? The open is something that they want worldwide. And I know the CEO, Rosa, he wants 500,000 people to do the open.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's just a movement, right? Like I said, it's a celebration. So it's not about scores. Like for those high-end athletes, like the Open is, yes, the beginning to their 2021 season.
Correct.
And they talk about that. But also, like, when you see CrossFit come out with the Open commercials, you see that, like, it's not – like, Fraser isn't rocking those commercials.
Yeah.
I mean, it's people in their 70s and their 80s. It's
definitely-
everyday individuals just moving.
Yep. There's somebody, one of my old literature and English professors from middle school, somebody I would never see doing CrossFit. She DM'd me on Facebook and she's like, hey, I'm doing the Open this year, CrossFit. I'm like, what? And it
Yeah.
was cool. I'm like, yo, let's go.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is I think when you sign up for the Open,
Mhm.
I told someone this the other day. When you sign up for the Open, it means that there's at least something from you that's invested in the Open, right?
Correct.
It's anything, right? It belonging to a gym, things like that, like making the commitment to belong and pay money to a gym. That's just an investment on your well-being. So if
Yep.
you sign up for the Open, that means you're invested for the next 3 weeks, right? You made a commitment for 3
Mhm.
weeks
There's
that you're
a
going to do something. You're going to do it for the best of your abilities. And it doesn't matter where you end up on the leaderboard. It's just you committed to something. You want to try and do your best. I would say everybody out there, probably somewhere in the Open, hits some sort of PR or matches, like, you know what I mean? They hit their peak performance because you're just, all right, I have one workout to do my best. And all the jitters at that 3, 2, 1 go leave. And like, it just comes together. You know what I mean? The Open allows for peak performance.
It's a beautiful thing, man. And what you're talking about with the community aspect, like even when I'm in the gym on Saturdays with my group of 6, 7, 8 people, like there's a different energy than working out by yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that like humans, we need that natural interaction, that natural connection. And in that environment of working out, it's like a little bit of a tribe kind of deal. Like you're all like just getting after it, grinding away for, 10, 30 minutes, depending on whatever the workout is. And like getting over those challenges and hurdles and having people support you along the way, it's a great thing. And that's again another aspect of CrossFit that I love, whether it's competition or it's just for yourself. Like the Open is a great opportunity to test and try all those boundaries out.
Test yourself and measure what you're doing, right? Is it working? Is it not working? How can I make adjustments?
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's essentially what it is. How can I make adjustments on the fly? And then what can I make adjustments for in the future? You know what I mean? It doesn't, like I said, and the other thing too, if you're out there and you are brand new to a CrossFit gym, that does not mean you can do the Open. One other thing that Open has included this year is there's your RX division, scale division, and now there's a foundations division as well as a no equipment. So they're really trying to make this thing pretty inclusive. So anybody out there can come through the Open. And I also know a lot of people that will come into affiliates, and this is not a rare occurrence. They're like, hey, I want to join this affiliate. And then they might not know of the Open, or they might know of the Open, and they'll be like, I've only done CrossFit for 2 weeks, but I'm going to do the Open, right? Because it's literally like stepping on a scale before you start a diet. Right?
Correct.
That's what the Open can be. And that's what the Open kind of is for me. And it just, my process happened naturally. I came into the gym. I was getting back into coaching, things like that. And I was not in the best shape. But I was I'm going to throw the Open. I did 3 of the 5 workouts because 2 of the other ones I just couldn't do. But for me, that was measurable, right? So now a year later, right, I have measurable things from literally ground zero to where I'm at now. And that happens in affiliates all the time. They talk about it like affiliates in the Open, that 2-month run from like New Year's resolutions to the Open, like a lot of people come in and make the commitment to do the Open and measure.
Yeah, it's a great accountability tool. It's like, okay, like you said, 3 weeks, I'm dedicating time and effort towards this thing as the Open. Now, typically it's been 5 weeks, so it's been a month, but still 3 weeks now, I'm going to be doing this. That might even incentivize people more. It's like, oh, I don't have to do this for a month. I do it for 3 weeks, and that's it. Like, call it is. So,
So for you, we're at 40 days or below. What does this time look like for you?
So we have just entered February. Well, we're about to tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
40 days out. I don't like to taper much, but there will be probably a deload week, 2 weeks out from the comp. So starting the Open, where I just take time for my body, make sure everything's checked. Because like, I don't know if you can see, but I have the cupping on my bicep.
Yeah.
Been a little jacked up. So I really want to get get it needled, checked out by a physician, make sure there's nothing in there like that could be wrong if they're feeling something.
Yeah.
get my body a good massage, like get everything checked out and ready to go because I want to hit the open as hard as possible. But leading up to training, strength cycles, we've been focusing on the past since we last talked from then till now. So it's been the last like 2 months of like just strength, metcons here and there, skill work, that kind of thing, but really not doing a whole bunch of long conditioning cardio pieces. Probably after this week, with Mayhem Strength, the metcons are going to ramp up a little bit more, probably adding a few more smaller metcons or extending the AMRAPs further than what I typically would, building volume with like gymnastics, with pull-ups, toes to bar, push-ups, that kind of thing. Really having good foundation, hitting a lot more core work as well. I think that's going to be a big thing to carry me over. And just making sure I'm hitting little things. Like I realized I didn't do double unders for like 2 weeks, and I did them Wednesday of last week. So I was like, okay, I got to make sure I stick on my dubs, because like making sure that the movements I'm testing, I'm pretty proficient at. And then again, probably that deload week in 3 weeks from now, and then hitting it hard. And then I think that would be the open.
Yeah. Essentially, kind of the same things over here. Focus on a little bit of strength. That Metcon is definitely going to ramp up a little bit. Maybe down the hatch a little bit. You might see maybe 2 per day for me. Or what I've been doing a lot lately is kind of like strength and then a Metcon, or like, hit a Metcon and then I like single modality. I know the rower, for everyone out there, like the rower and the bike and running are not going to be in the open this year, but that does not mean you should back off of them.
You need to do it.
Yeah, just still do it, because that's just that straight single modality or multi-modality conditioning. And that's one thing that you can really ramp up, kind of leading into the open, because when in doubt, it's just how hard can you push, right? How high can you jack your heart rate for X amount of time? So that conditioning work's definitely going to start to ramp up a little bit too. As we kind of not fall away from strength, but start to lean more into the high intensity, because that's what's going to come kind of towards.
Like I would definitely be practicing more kipping pull-ups. Like pretty much the past 3 months, I think I've done kipping pull-ups twice. Yeah. And they were both chest to bar both times. And I've done bar muscle-ups, ring muscle-ups, because that's something I want to work on and figuring out how to build volume there. But really, like my pull-ups have pretty much been strict. Handstand push-ups have pretty much been strict, other than the parallettes that I was doing, because I don't think I could do a parallel strict pull-up or strict handstand push-up yet. Yeah. But a lot of strict work to getting that.
Start to build in. Yes, definitely. You'll start to see programs too start to build in like a little bit of that higher volume gymnastics work. It might have been a lot of strength stuff. There was a lot of like strict pull-ups, some strict handstand push-up works. You might see more kipping handstand push-ups come down the hatch. High volume-ish chest to bar, where if you have butterfly, I don't know if you have butterfly, but things like that where you can test that kind of like, let's crank it up a little bit here and, give you some bigger numbers, just so you have that intensity. It's not like you get to the open and be like, well, just did 4 months of strict pull-ups, now I'm going to rock some butterfly and haven't done it in a while.
Have that. Even if you don't do a Metcon, you have to practice like intervals. Like I'm going to do 10, like an EMOM. Yeah. Every minute or every 90 seconds, you do 10 butterfly pull-ups, and you do that for 5 rounds or 6 rounds or whatever, just to practice that motion. You need to have that. I don't always advocate for it, but in competition setting, you're going to need those if they're in there.
Yeah, well, exactly. You're just going to need that speed, essentially, in competition setting. So, and then making sure the skill is still there, making adjustments because your body's always changing too. So you got to make adjustments on the fly. But awesome, man. That was great open talk. Like I said, we're less than 40 days away. We'll definitely check back in on you. I'd love to. We could probably reconnect sometime too, maybe after the open sometime.
Sometime late March, early April.
Yeah, and close this loop and kind of see like we give you a round of applause if you make that little quarterfinal round. And then we can just talk about your experience too. It'll be your first open. So we talk about your kind of your journey, because we've talked about kind of who you were as an athlete, but now we're kind of talking about your first open, which is pretty cool too. Yeah, man. So, guys, that's Josh Beeker. Like I said, Josh is very big on the social media platforms, TikTok and Instagram. So if you're looking for any of his information, I'll post some of the stuff after in the exit slides on how you can find him on Instagram, TikTok. Vulture Culture Programming is the programming that he puts out. So you can look at that too. I'll make sure you can find all those. But Josh, once again, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you very much, Scott. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Pour me another one. Make it a strong one. We're gonna have some fun tonight. just like the other one. Make it a double run, we're gonna cast away tonight. I'm in an island state of mind, don't think I'm ever gonna leave. I'd rather stay and watch the waves move the sand beneath my feet. Reggae on the radio, laying low and feeling high. Easy living down in paradise.